Good morning. It's 6:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Down there, Miss Erin has news up next.
The mother of three is killed and a police officer wounded in Shreveport. We'll have an update. We're under the gun as far as weather is concerned. And the fiscal cliff, has it gotten smaller or larger?
Cliff. Name 3 governors who's never been in my kitchen. Sorry, old Cheers joke. How many times have you voted? CraftHockeyville.com.
5.
I'm close to 200. I stayed up last
Wow.
night. I am wired like a toaster this morning.
Oh, dang.
Tell you more if you don't know already. Plus Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour, and it's right here on KEEL.
Difference.
KEEL News now.
A local woman killed and a police officer wounded during a Thursday shooting. Jonathan Robinson has been arrested after he allegedly shot and killed a woman live on Facebook. Renita Williams was seen video streaming on the social media platform when a man appeared behind her and shot her dead. Robinson then allegedly barricaded himself inside the home on Natalie Street in Caddo Heights before eventually being arrested. During the encounter, a Shreveport police officer suffered a gunshot wound to the lower arm area. Robinson is being charged with second-degree murder, felon in possession of a firearm, and several other charges. This part of the state under a slight risk to enhanced risk of severe weather today, and the storm's risk shifts to southeast Louisiana tomorrow. Climatologist Barry Kime says there's a good chance we'll see a few tornado warnings later today.
It's a pretty strong frontal system, a lot of instability, a lot of what we call convective activity.
The storm should be arriving in our area after lunch. The fiscal cliff is smaller as the state's Revenue Estimating Conference has lowered the budget shortfall from $994 million to $648 million. Meantime, State Treasurer John Schroeder tells KEEL News it's time for the governor to heed the advice of experts on both sides of the aisle in the state's budget debate.
But he's not listening to the majority of people in Louisiana. He's listening to his constituency.
Bossier considering a lawsuit against several pharmaceutical companies to pay back money spent on dealing with the ongoing opioid crisis. Several other local cities and parishes, including Bossier Parish, have filed suit against the drug companies. More than 7,000 motorists busted for not having insurance. Matt Parker with that.
7,050 motorists have received a $200 ticket from the Bossier Sheriff's Office for driving without auto insurance. Sheriff Julian Whittington says that he installed the license plate readers in the parish back in April with the hopes of keeping uninsured drivers off the road. Whittington says the money earned from fines will be used for maintenance and crime prevention. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
DeSoto Schools getting closer to naming Cade Brumley's replacement. The school boards announced 3 finalists for the open superintendent's job: Kathy Noel, who is serving as interim super, Clay Corley, and Eddie Jones. The board expected to announce their decision by May 3rd. Things could be changing for SNAP recipients. The proposed federal farm bill includes work requirements for able-bodied 18 to 59-year-olds who get the help. Congressman Ralph Abraham says the requirement will filter out people who choose to take advantage of the system.
I'm sure there are some that don't want to work, but again, if they want to be recipients of this SNAP program, then they're going to have to get in the game and do what we ask them to do.
The Democratic National Committee is against the bill. 2 local students have been named Louisiana Middle and High School Students of the Year by the Department of Education. Ashini Modi, an 8th grader at Caddo Middle Magnet, and Sanjay Lechman, a senior at Caddo Magnet High, earn the titles by showcasing their academic abilities and being leaders in their classrooms and communities. In his new book, former FBI Director James Comey compares President Trump to a mobster-like figure who tries to extract loyalty from others at the expense of the country. Today is the day to vote in the Kraft Hockeyville contest. George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum is in the running for a $150,000 prize and the chance to host a preseason NHL game. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning. It's 9 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Friday morning traffic. Starting us off, here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road, just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Because you're going to the line, your tie if you're
At
okay.
least there's no rain to blame it on.
Well,
I'm actually meeting as we speak. They started at 7:30 this morning. So the numbers sound to be a little bit better.
What was it? Elephant Man? I'm not an animal.
Was that Elephant Man?
Elephant Man, I'm not an animal.
I'm not an animal.
I'm not a robot. I'm not a robot. 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 12 past 6 o'clock. The KEEL app, a free download.
you're such a good Louisiana voter.
From Office Furniture Source. Vote early, vote often.
Yeah.
CraftHockeyville.com. Mm-hmm. And you can vote as many times if you're on your phone or a laptop as you want.
Vote, vote, vote.
And you can do a vote on Twitter if you have a Twitter account, so that's an additional thing. There's lots of ways you can help out.
Yeah, but it's just once a day on Twitter.
Yeah, but still, that's two extra votes.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah, you bet.
I stayed up till 11 o'clock last night when the voting started because it started at midnight Eastern, 11 our time.
I voted late last night, too.
How many times?
5.
Yeah, I did about 100.
Slacker.
As many times as I could vote between 11 and 11:30. Then I got up, went to bed at 11:30. Then I woke up this morning at 4:30, which is the regular time, but voted from 4:30 till 5. The website is Kraft, K-R-A-F-T, like the food, hockeyville.com, krafthockeyville.com. And if you don't know, just go there, vote for Shreveport.
Yep.
You can vote as many times because you know that all the other people, all the other locations, all the other hockey rinks and arenas across America, 3 others that are the finalists, as is George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum.
You do have to create an account and just say no to all the, do you want us to send you emails and all that? Just don't click all that if you don't want all that junk.
They told me I'd get free ketchup.
No, you don't get free ketchup.
So it's krafthockeyville.com, and the winner of the Kraft Hockeyville contest gets $150,000 for rink renovation. So can you imagine what they...
And the chance to host a preseason NHL game.
Absolutely. So you can you imagine what Hirsch Coliseum, how the improvements they could make with $150,000?
No doubt.
And like I said, there's no limit on the number of if you're on the phone or you're on your laptop. There's no limit to the number of votes, number of times you can vote.
That is incredible.
And even if you're not a huge hockey fan or whatever, this isn't just for the hockey team. It's not like they're going to cut $150,000 to the Mudbugs and it's only going to hockey stuff.
No,
it's to
it
improve the Hirsch, George's Pond, which hosts all sorts of events, including the upcoming, Miss USA,
It goes
Miss Teen USA.
specifically for building renovation.
Yeah.
Here's
When do we know who won?
Saturday.
Tomorrow. No, Saturday. Well, that's tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
At
2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock, they're going to make the announcement of the winner during the National Hockey League playoff game.
Nice.
So, and
Which
that's on
just happens to be the Predators game.
which the Mudbugs have a lot of ties
Now,
to.
wait, the Scott Muskett's going to join us later this morning, but he said we had some surprises up our sleeve with regard to the voting.
Well, if you've been watching the Mudbugs site, a lot of very well-known and famous people, hockey and others, have been making like, hey, this is fill in the blank. Vote for the Mudbug. Vote for George's Pond, Hirsch Coliseum, krafthockeyville.com.
Cool.
Speaking of the Nashville Predators, they had a bunch of Predators guys, Mike Fisher, PK Subban, a bunch of other guys.
My favorite player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just been awesome. It's great to see so many people talking about it.
So
and
listen. While we're talking now, you could be voting. It's
absolutely.
krafthockeyville.com.
Vote early, vote often.
The
When's
others
the cutoff for voting?
It's 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 a.m.
I think
All
it's
right.
10 a.m. tomorrow morning, our time, maybe 9
So
a.m.
vote all day, vote as many
Anytime
times.
anytime you get a couple of minutes. I told
Vote,
you,
vote.
I stayed up last night till 11, voted till 11:30. I got up this morning at 4:30 and voted till 5. I came in 20 minutes early. I've just been sitting here, vote. Now it takes you through a couple of little, I'm not a robot. You got to play the I'm not a robot game.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask him. I almost called him last night. I said, Parky, is there a bot program we can set up for this?
Yeah.
And then I saw it's got all that I've got a robot or I'm not a robot. And you've got to go through, like pick the pictures out or do the letters or whatever it is.
But
Right.
if you're not the most technologically savvy, if this might be beyond your realm of...
It's not.
Well, I'm just saying there are some people like, I don't know anything about that. You can literally go... If you go to the Mudbugs playoff game tonight, they're having a voting party before and after the game. They're going to have one of the playoff games on the Jumbotron, the Mudbugs 3000-tron, where you can, vote and hang out and watch the hockey game and then have a grand old time.
And here's the deal. If you are one of those who is inclined to vote as many times as you can, or just a few times, do us the favor and tell people you say today, other family members, your friends, etc., to go to the website and vote, because it is the total number of votes over the voting period that will determine who gets the, dare I say again, $150,000 in building renovation from Kraft Foods.
huge.
So here's what I was thinking last night. If you are on the Shreveport City Council, if you're a city employee, if you work for the Caddo Commission, if you're a Caddo Commissioner, how are you not voting for this all day?
All day.
How are you not sitting at your desk? And I talk about Michael Corbin because not only because he's on with us a lot, but because he's my city council guy. Mr. Mike, go to work late today, amigo. Sit at home. Click, 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 click. Call James Flurry. Call Stephanie Lynch. Call everybody. Everybody talks about Shreveport needs, Shreveport doesn't have, Shreveport's got to do. Well, you know what this is? This is a chance to get $150 freaking $1,000 from somebody else to make building improvements that nobody else can do. Nobody else is going to make. We don't have that kind of cash. Certainly the Mudbugs hockey team, the fairgrounds folks, the city of Shreveport doesn't have that kind of money for this kind of investment lying around. And the point being, as many people as you can tell and get to vote once or 5 times or 10 times or 100 times, the chance increases of us getting that, good gosh, $150,000.
Well, like you said, it's tax-free money. We're not raising taxes on people. We're not harassing. We don't have to vote on it. Well, I mean, I guess technically we kind of do.
This is not April 20. This is not a millage renewal.
I think every civics teacher should go into class today and say, kids, we're going to have a great day. I'm going to let every one of you get your cell phones out.
That's an awesome
They all get their
idea.
cell phones out. Then the whole hour of civics, we're going to teach you about the voting system.
Craft.
We're all going to vote.
Craft with a K. Craft like foods. CraftHockeyville.com. 100 the potential. We are this close.
Oh, yeah.
Just 3 other spots across America we've got to beat. CraftHockeyville.com.
And those other cities are just...
$150,000
Yes.
in our hands, and we are this close.
That is some big juice.
19 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic time. Ruben's here.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
.101.7 FM, 710 Keel time for Friday Sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Shreveport Mudbugs organization is one of 4 finalists in the country for a $150,000 grant for arena upgrades through Kraft's Hockeyville initiative. The winning group will be determined solely by a popular vote that is underway right now and will continue until 10 o'clock Saturday morning on the website CraftHockeyville.com. You can vote as often as you want. In addition to the grant money, the winner will also be in line to host an NHL preseason game this fall. Of course, nasty weather is coming in, and it probably will affect 4 local area regional college baseball series that are set to start today, including Northwestern State welcoming Southeastern to Natchitoches. Grambling hosts UAPB in SWAC action. Louisiana Tech tries to keep their stranglehold on first place in Conference USA when they host Charlotte. And LSU will host Tennessee right here on 11:30 The Tiger. In the big leagues tonight, the Houston Astros take on the reeling Texas Rangers at Minute Maid Park. From the sports desk of 11:30 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Twenty-four past 6 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. Vote for George's Pond, Hirsch Coliseum, CraftHockeyville.com. $150,000 in stuff. Tell me about the shooting. A policeman was wounded.
A police officer was wounded, shot apparently in the wrist area, taken to University Health. It was a domestic-related call.
Now, who are we having?
Heights.
What time is our guest this morning? 7:10?
7:10. Patrina Jenkins with the
phone or in-house?
She's going to try to get here in person, but I don't know that she'll make it.
She's from where? I'm sorry.
Project Celebration, which is they run the local domestic violence shelter.
Okay, so tie this all together.
The woman who was killed, her name is Renita Williams, known as Nunu to her family and friends, and she put a message on Facebook over the weekend that she'd finally rid herself of her boyfriend, now her ex, apparently identified now as Jonathan Robinson. Well, he apparently went into a rage, was in her home. The horrible part about this story is that he forced her to live stream on Facebook. Forced her to apologize, saying things like, "I'm going to make you famous. I'm about to make you famous." And then, Robert, he killed her live on Facebook. Murdered her. The phone drops. The stream goes dead. Obviously, Facebook has removed the video, but had already been shared. But imagine being her family and watching this, because there's a situation going on. So you're looking, and you see this live stream going on.
Then, was it a standoff at that point?
Yes, he fired some shots at police. He'd gone to the door during the live stream, and you can hear him, say, "I don't care about the police. The police can come. I don't care about the police. I don't." And there's shots fired. You're not sure. It was a chaotic scene. There were more than 40 officers, on the scene. I was concerned about our buddy Christian Hicks, who was here the day before, who rides that area and during days, so I was sure he was out there. There's several others we know, so I was very concerned about them. And then you hear the call go out, officer needs assistance, which typically means an officer's been hurt. And you're thinking, oh, dear God, please don't let an officer be dead or, seriously wounded. Well, there was one officer who was shot again in the wrist area, the lower arm area, taken to University Health.
So what happened from there?
Renita Williams was pronounced dead on arrival at University Health yesterday, shortly after the incident happened. Jonathan Robinson, who's 36, he was arrested. Eventually, police were able to arrest him. But it didn't end there. They get him to the city jail, and he's so belligerent and so
uncontrollable.
Uncontrollable, that's the word. He fought with the officers. He knocked a payphone off the wall. He burst a pipe in his cell, flooding the jail. So they had to take him from the city jail. I believe I was told by one of my sources that there were as many as a dozen officers it took to control him, to get him, bound up enough where they could take him to Caddo Correctional, where he's now being housed, facing, second-degree murder, many other charges.
Second?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
second, not
murder.
Premeditated.
Apparently not. Apparently, maybe he'd gone there to, to try to win her heart back. I don't know. And then things escalated.
By putting her on Facebook.
I know a lot of the times they will...
Or is that just the opening salvo?
They'll initially charge him with second-degree murder and then move from there.
Gotcha.
The DA could obviously, up the charges.
Okay.
My caution to you and to anybody who has someone in their life that's living in a domestic violence situation.
I hate to cut you off because I know this is very close to you. This is close to your heart.
You bet.
Because this is something you did for a long time with the YWCA.
Mm-hmm.
So hang on to that. If we don't have time next segment, I promise we will get to that at 6:40. Okay? Because I know
she is the mother of 3 young children.
Hold the thought. Hold the emotion. We'll be right back.
You bet.
29 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL Local News is next. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road, just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. We'll have a spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. Mostly cloudy and windy. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Information. KEEL News now.
The mother of 3 children is killed and a Shreveport police officer wounded. Matt Parker has details.
Jonathan Robinson has been arrested after he allegedly shot and killed a woman live on Facebook. Renita Williams was seen video streaming on the social media platform when a man appeared behind her and shot her dead. Robinson then allegedly barricaded himself inside the home on Natalie Street before eventually being arrested. During the violent encounter, a Shreveport police officer suffered a gunshot wound to the lower arm area. Robinson is being charged with second-degree murder, felon in possession of a firearm, and several other charges. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Our part of the state under a slight to enhanced risk of severe weather today. State climatologist Barry Kime says a strong cold front that will once again bring us chilly air for the weekend will bring fire-off storms throughout the weekend.
The strong winds, the tornadic activity, and hail all kind of go hand in hand, and that risk is definitely there.
We could see some tornado warnings later today. 7,050 motorists have gotten a $200 ticket from the Bossier Sheriff's Office for driving without insurance. Sheriff Whittington says he installed the license plate readers in the parish back in April with the hopes of keeping uninsured drivers off the road. Whittington says the money earned from fines will be used for maintenance and crime prevention. Bossier considering a lawsuit against several pharmaceutical companies to pay back money spent on dealing with the ongoing opioid crisis. Several other cities and parishes, including Bossier Parish, have filed suit against the drug companies. DeSoto Parish Schools getting close to naming Cade Brumley's replacement. The DeSoto School Board has announced 3 finalists for the open superintendent's job: Kathy Noel, who's serving as interim superintendent, Clay Corley, and Eddie Jones. Final decision expected by May 3rd. 2 local students have been named Louisiana Middle and High School Students of the Year by the Department of Education. Ashini Modi, an 8th grader at Caddo Middle Magnet, and Sunjay Lechman, a senior at Caddo Magnet High, earned the titles by showcasing their academic abilities and being leaders in their classrooms and communities. State Treasurer John Schroeder very critical of the governor in his handling of our state's budget crisis.
I like the guy. I don't like his policy. I think you need some very proactive people in government right now that turns this thing upside down, spins it around, and has it come out looking like something else.
Meantime, the fiscal cliff is smaller as the state's revenue estimating conference has lowered the budget shortfall from $994 million to $648 million. Legislation that would prohibit smoking inside bars and casinos statewide failed to get out of the House Health and Welfare Committee. If passed, it would virtually ban smoking in just about every public building in the state. Brent Rochon is a cardiologist who testified in favor.
With our lifestyle, especially in Louisiana, the boudin, the crackling, the etouffees, the rice and dressing, the gumbo, we do enough for ourselves. So let's keep the gumbo and let's lose the smoke.
But the gaming industry was there in opposition. The bill's author, Representative Dustin Miller, can still bring the bill back before the panel, and he does plan on making changes to try to get the legislation approved. Former Temple University employee Andrea Constant says Bill Cosby drugged and molested her at his suburban Philadelphia mansion in '04, but Cosby's lawyers accuse Constant of being a con artist who framed Cosby for money. A 15-year-old boy is challenging a policy that prevents high school boys from competing on girls' dance teams in South Dakota. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning, 636 Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. As we have mentioned a couple of times already, Kraft with a K, like Kraft Foods, that's what it is, KraftHockeyville.com.
You're obsessed over there.
I'm going crazy.
Hey, you've just been voting for a solid hour.
I got up, the voting started, the nationwide voting started last night at 11 o'clock our time. It was midnight Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed up till 11 and voted till 11:30 because you can vote as many times as you want.
What about all the people who say, I don't care about hockey. I'm not,
Parky, you handled that pretty well. Explain to everybody why this is a lot bigger than an ice rink.
Yeah, it's not just about hockey or the Shreveport Mudbugs. The money goes to George's Pond, Hirsch Coliseum, the building, to improve the building, which happens to host a ton of events. We got Miss USA, Miss Teen USA, tons of other stuff that goes in there.
Not to mention the state fair, which uses Hirsch as a big part.
Let me make a point here that sort of adds on to something you say all the time. when you want to really dig at me, when you really want to take a shot, when you want to hit me where it really hurts, what do you talk about? What part of my being do you go for when you really want to go to the proverbial jugular? Where do you go?
Male pattern baldness?
No. A lot more mean and vicious than that, my friend. A lot colder. A lot more.
Your elderliness?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I was born in 1952. Okay? When Matt busts on me when he really wants to turn
Twist the knife, yeah.
Hey, Grandpa.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
old guy.
Yeah.
Hey,
Pops.
Mr. Sit Down to Pee. Things like that.
I wish you did, but that's another story.
Okay.
I don't need to know about you knowing about him peeing. I really
George's
don't.
Pond at Hirsch Coliseum was opened in 1952. It could stand, similar to myself perhaps,
It could stand a little lift.
a little cosmetic improvement.
Little tuck here and there.
This is $150,000.
Boob job, yeah.
This is 5 boob jobs. This is 50 boob jobs.
This is incredible.
It will be sitting high. That building will be defying gravity.
Yeah.
Like a 45-year-old woman who just walked out of the office. You get my point.
Oh, God.
CraftHockeyville.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can vote all day today. This is the important thing. You said you're upset. Yes, I voted. Yes, I bet I voted 300 times.
Golly.
You can vote as many times as you want.
I need to go vote again.
Click, 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 click,
I'm a
click.
slacker.
We are in competition against 3 other facilities, arenas, ice rinks across the country. 4 finalists. We, Shreveport, are one. $150,000.
Yep.
For the ice rink equivalent of a boob job. 639, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic time. Ruben's here on Keel.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Good morning, 642. Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Okay, so the policeman, they have not released. An officer shot yesterday, SPD guy, was wounded, shot in the wrist, the lower arm. But tell me again, let's run through. If you're just joining us, this was, how long was the standoff? It was Caddo Heights area, right?
Yeah, in the Caddo Heights on Natalie Street, and it was several hours. They had, at one point, more than 40 officers on the scene.
So there's a guy inside with his estranged girlfriend.
Yeah.
That evidently she had broken up with him, and he decided, no, we're not broken up. I'm going to come to your house and kill you.
And you talk to most.
And I know that sounds I
Yeah.
apologize. But that's exactly what happened.
And that is what the experts will tell you. And we'll have Patrina Jenkins joining us with Project Celebration just after 7. But the time when the breakup, or when a woman leaves, or when a victim leaves, not necessarily a woman, when a victim leaves.
You know, it's interesting
that
you say
time
that.
is the most dangerous.
Pardon me, because you always tell me this ain't the first time.
Oh, no.
There's a guy with
and he's facing, if you look, I looked to see his previous charges. He had a domestic abuse charge from a few years ago. He's got an armed robbery. He has a long rap sheet. And yet he's got guns. He's got a rifle. He's able to shoot a police officer. You know, when you hear people talk about gun violence,
well,
and
you don't know that's a legally purchased gun.
No, you don't know that. But the bad guys are going to have guns.
Yes.
He has this gun, knowing it's illegal, knowing he shouldn't have it, but he's got it. And now the mother of 3 young children is dead. And he's in jail, and we're going to feed him breakfast this morning, lunch this afternoon, and dinner tonight.
And even if he's convicted of first-degree murder, he'll be on death row for 2 or 3 decades.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, what you had touched on before, and this is the even more horrific part, it was on Facebook.
Yeah.
He forced her to stream live.
He forced her to stream live. She had a pretty big presence on Facebook. And maybe that was a contentious thing between them. I don't know. But you can hear him talking about, you want to be famous? I'm going to make you famous. And he forces her to live stream and then kills her.
You know, a lot of folks don't know. And I know this is the kind of stuff that hits you the hardest because of your history as a victim advocate with the YWCA. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, I spent 5 years doing that.
Tell us about that and some of the things you've seen. So when something like this happens, you have seen, I don't want to say the process, you've seen, pardon the vernacular, you've seen this movie dozens of times.
Dozens of times. And you know, she did what they tell you to do. They say, you know, get rid of the guy, have your own place, establish yourself, make sure he's out of your life. And she did that. And it's so hard for these women, many of them, to leave. She was doing the right thing. I'm not sure if there was a protective order in place yet. She apparently just broke up with him over the weekend. But a lot of folks go get a protective order through the courts, which is a good idea.
What percentage? And I'm not trying to demean or downplay the idea of a restraining order, etc. But what percentage of restraining or what percentage of those does some guy even? What percentage? Is it worth the paper it's written on?
In some cases, and I don't want to speak out of turn. In some cases, yes. Some people take it serious.
I mean, they are intimidated, for lack of a better word, by the law.
They don't want to get arrested, and they will stay away.
Okay.
But there's a large percentage that this doesn't matter. This will not. There's no, like this man was shouting, "I don't care about the police," and he's shooting at them. Let the police come. I don't care about the police, and he's firing guns at him. He wounds a police officer in the process. You should get a protective order. It does give you more ammunition in terms of if he comes to your home, police will come. They will pick him up for violating the protective order. The laws have changed dramatically on that front, which is a good thing.
In the favor of
the victim.
Okay.
Absolutely. But I'm just going to tell you, you need some questions I'm going to have of Patrina Jenkins when she joins us after 7. She's with Project Celebration.
What is that, by the way?
It is a domestic violence shelter here in Shreveport, and they house victims of domestic violence, and they provide counseling, lots of other services. But my involvement is before all this social media stuff. So I have questions of her with regard to that. You know, if you're in this situation, we've always told victims, tell people, talk about it, take pictures, have evidence, be sure. But I wonder about how much of that you should share on social media, because any little thing can inflame that abuser. You know, anything you put on Facebook, though, you might think it's a calming comment or two, might inflame that person.
Or empowering on your part.
You bet. Absolutely.
She had made a couple of posts.
She did. She made a post Saturday that she'd rid herself of this person. And she was ready to move on or something to that effect. And, Robert, I looked at her Facebook yesterday. I spent a lot of time. And there's a picture of her with her 3 little children. They're all dressed in LSU gear, purple and gold. You can tell what a proud mother she was. I just cried. I thought, who tells these babies? Who sits them down and says, Mama is gone. Mama's never coming back. I cry for them. I think, what is their life now going to be like? They're going to go end up living with a relative, which they'll probably be cared for fine, but it's not their mom. And she's gone. And I can't even speak. I get so traumatized by this, and I struggle with this. I really do. And I hope this man never sees the light of day. He has a history of this kind of behavior. He has a history of violent crime. He has a history of domestic abuse. It's time that he is locked up, and he is never to harm another person again. Never to harm another's baby's mama again.
So who's joining us just after 7? Some a little info, please.
Patrina Jenkins with Project Celebration is going to join us this morning at 7:10, and we have questions for her. She's torn apart too this morning. She obviously is.
648, 1017 FM, 710 Keel, Fletcher in Sports, Kraft, Hockeyville. More on that. Traffic and weather just ahead, and it's here on Keel.
Looks like I-20 eastbound's got it clear all the way to Monroe right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-49 northbound near Kings Highway. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
It is 8 before 7 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel, time for sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Shreveport Mudbugs organization is one of 4 finalists in the country for a $150,000 grant for arena upgrades through Kraft's Hockeyville initiative. The winning group will be determined solely by a popular vote that is underway right now and will continue until 10 o'clock Saturday morning on the website crafthockeyville.com. You can vote as often as you want. In addition to the grant money, the winner will also be in line to host an NHL preseason game this fall. Of course, nasty weather is coming in, and it probably will affect 4 local area regional college baseball series that are set to start today, including Northwestern State welcoming Southeastern to Natchitoches. Grambling hosts UAPB in SWAC action. Louisiana Tech tries to keep their stranglehold on first place in Conference USA when they host Charlotte. And LSU will host Tennessee right here on 1130 The Tiger. In the big leagues tonight, the Houston Astros take on the reeling Texas Rangers at Minute Maid Park. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Busy voting.
You guys are distracted.
I swear you have voted 400 times.
Good.
No, who, you or me?
You're like a good Louisiana voter.
Yeah.
You're voting early and often.
Like I died a year ago. 1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Okay, so coming up just after 7 o'clock, help me out here. Her name is?
Patrina Jenkins, and she is with Project Celebration, which is the local domestic violence shelter. And Patrina and I go way back. She is such an advocate for victims of domestic violence, and we're talking about what happened yesterday in Caddo Heights, the death of a young woman at the hands of her ex-boyfriend.
What is the update on the officer? He was shot in the wrist, the lower arm.
Yeah, shot in the wrist apparently, and is going to be okay. I spoke with the folks at University Health, and he was being treated late into the afternoon. I'm not sure yet if he's been released or not. But, you know, if it's a hand injury like that and he's required to be able to use a gun and all that, it may impact, we're not saying much about this, but it may impact his career.
Then coming up just after 7:30, Mudbugs General Manager Scott Muscat. Today is the big day for the voting today and part of tomorrow.
Vote, vote, vote.
crafthockeyville.com. George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum, $150,000. Listen to me again, $150,000 in renovation money from the Kraft Foods people. We are in the finals against 3 other arenas, rinks, places across the country. It's total online voting.
Oh, yeah.
And you can vote as many times as you want. You know we got to, because everybody else is.
I've put the link, by the way, on our Facebook page. So just go to the KEEL Facebook page. It's right there where you can click and vote.
crafthockeyville.com. Got to go, kids. Here's Rush on KEEL.
Recently, I told you about a San Francisco Chronicle columnist upset with Orange County, California. He's mad that Orange County voted to opt out of California's sanctuary law. He's mad that they won't allow homeless shelters in some neighborhoods, and he complained that wealthy suburbs shouldn't act so ugly. Well, the new Los Angeles plan to deal with its massive homeless problem ought to make this guy very happy. Last year, the LA Board of Supervisors approved a pilot program to allow homeowners to convert their garages into housing for the homeless, or they could build new little sheds for the homeless in their backyards. Plans for the 320-square-foot backyard huts are on the drawing board. Maybe Obama's brother could move in. The local government would give the tenants vouchers to cover most of the rent, but the homeless would be responsible for paying the rest. Now, what could go wrong here? There's 60,000 homeless people in L.A., so this could be the magic wand to finally solve the problem. Right. Once it works in L.A., the idea can spread to other California cities, and soon our angry little San Francisco Chronicle columnist can have his own very own homeless person as a backyard neighbor. He can show the ugly acting rich people in Orange County how to be nice. Folks, not a word of this was made up. It's all real.
They may not be your ordinary political pundits, but these days, that's a good thing. These mamas make sense. Terry Netterville and Denise Arthur. Listen to Mama on American Ground Radio. Weeknights from 6 to 7 p.m. Right here on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. And streaming live at KEELnews.com.
Starting to see some slow-moving traffic on Greenwood Road near Hearn Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Benton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Right now, 66, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL app, a free download at 7 o'clock. Here's Fox News.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 7:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. She's got local news, Miss Erin, coming up next.
Tragedy in Caddo Heights. The mother of 3 children is dead. A police officer wounded. Severe storms could be headed our way. And how's the fiscal cliff?
Cliff. The young lady's name is our 710 guest.
Patrina Jenkins.
And she is with
Project Celebration,
which is a shelter for
domestic abuse victims.
Details on the way. Plus, Scott Muscat, Mudbugs General Manager. CraftHockeyville.com is the website. Details on how you can help George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum get $150,000 in renovation money, and today is the day. Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all here this hour coming up on KEEL.
Of information. KEEL News now.
A Shreveport woman, the mother of 3 children, is killed and a police officer wounded during a Thursday shooting. 36-year-old Jonathan Robinson has been arrested after he allegedly shot and killed the woman live on Facebook. Renita Williams was seen video streaming on the social media platform when the man appeared behind her and shot her dead. Robinson then allegedly barricaded himself inside the home on Natalie Street in Caddo Heights before eventually being arrested. He faces a series of charges today. The officer is expected to be okay. Just a week ago, our area was pounded by storms, and now Shreveport-Bossier is under the threat of severe weather again. State climatologist Barry Kime says flash flooding is also a concern.
Rain potential is anywhere from about 1 to 5 inches, and we could very well have widespread areas with 3 to 5 inch totals, with isolated areas with even larger rainfall amounts.
Now, this powerful system is capable of producing large hail, strong winds, and tornadoes. 7,050 motorists have gotten a $200 ticket from the Bossier Sheriff's Office for driving without auto insurance. Sheriff Julian Whittington says he installed the license plate readers in the parish back in April with the hopes of keeping uninsured drivers off the road. Whittington says the money earned from the fines will be used for maintenance and crime prevention. SNAP recipients could see changes coming. The proposed federal farm bill has work requirements for able-bodied 18 to 59-year-olds who get benefits. Congressman Ralph Abraham says the goal is to help break the cycle of poverty and help people climb the economic ladder.
We will help them meet those goals. Our goal on the federal level is to provide an on-ramp to employment.
A beneficiary would have to work or be enrolled in a work training program at least 20 hours a week. DeSoto School's getting close to naming Cade Brumley's replacement. The school board announced 3 finalists for the job: Kathy Noel, who's currently serving as interim superintendent, Clay Corley, and Eddie Jones. The board expected to announce their decision on May 3rd. Could Bossier City be suing drug companies? Matt Parker with an update.
The city of Bossier is considering a lawsuit against several pharmaceutical companies to pay back money spent on dealing with the ongoing opioid crisis. Several other local cities and parishes, including Bossier Parish, have filed suit against the drug companies in an effort to combat the negative effects of opioid drugs. Bossier Mayor Lo Walker says opioid abuse is a huge problem in Bossier City and has taxed law enforcement, medical services, and the Bossier court system. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
State Treasurer John Schroeder says the budget battle in Baton Rouge starts with the governor.
The administration is stuck on what they want, and they think they're going to stuff it down the House of Representatives. He believes he controls the Senate. In a lot of cases, that's true, but he thinks he's going to, through the media, stuff it down the throats of the House of Representatives. I don't see it happening.
The fiscal cliff, meantime, is smaller as the state's Revenue Estimating Conference has lowered the budget shortfall from $994 million to $648 million. A 22-year-old suburban Houston woman sentenced to 4 years in prison for abandoning her newborn daughter in an apartment complex flower bed where the child was found covered with ants. The White House says President Trump will consult with allies before making a final decision on possible military strikes against Syria. Today's the day to vote in the Kraft Hockeyville contest. George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum is in the running for a $150,000 prize and the chance to host a preseason NHL game. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL app, a free download from Office Furniture Source. Traffic update. Here's the latest.
Starting to see some slow-moving traffic on Texas Street in downtown Shreveport, and we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Spur in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Good morning. It's 11 past 7 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Don't forget, free download. So is the KEEL app, presented by Office Furniture Source.
We're joined this morning by Patrina Jenkins with Project Celebration. Good morning to you, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you.
We have a tragedy in our community, the death of a 27-year-old mother of three in the Caddo Heights neighborhood, apparently at the hands of her ex-boyfriend, apparently just broke up. What do you know about it? I know you're obviously not, don't have all the inside information, but you may know a little bit more about what happened from speaking to residents around our community.
Right, and I don't know about this specific case, but I know that it is what I did hear was that it sounds like it's pretty much, just exactly what happens in daily domestic violence situations. The only difference in this case is that we actually saw it play out, but millions of women actually live in this turmoil every day.
And she just recently had broken up with him. Is that accurate from what you're hearing?
Yeah, I don't know, but oftentimes, again, about this specific situation, but oftentimes the most dangerous time of an abusive relationship is while that person is trying to leave. Either the abuser has gotten word that she's trying to leave or after she's left. Over 85% of homicides that occur as a result of domestic violence actually happen after the victim has left.
Ms. Petrina, Erin was talking in the last hour about how sometimes it's very important to get a protective order or restraining order, and my question was, does that really work? How many times do guys who are bent on injuring their partner or former partner, does it really count for anything?
Right. And I like to tell people that when you get a protective order, that's not the guru of it all. A protective order is a layer of protection. So that's just one layer. And along with safety planning, and of course, when we definitely implement the penalties associated with violating a protective order, then those things are absolutely effective.
That's just one of the tools, right?
That is absolutely one of the tools.
What do you tell this woman? She's 27. She leaves 3 children. I can't even imagine what the family's going through today. You work with these victims day in, day out, and with the families. How do they deal with this?
Right. A lot of times families will blame themselves. And I think that just the society that we live in, we do tend to blame victims. And we ask, well, why didn't she just leave? Why didn't she do this? But we never say, why doesn't he just not abuse her? Why doesn't he just not abuse his spouse or someone who obviously loves this person?
Right.
So I think that as a community, we've got to begin to wrap the accountability around batterers and take the focus off of victims and talk about his actions.
Let me ask you this, because I really want you to expound on this. It's really important for someone who's involved in a domestic abuse situation to talk about it, share it with people, take pictures, etc. Go into how important that is.
Right. That's very important. But you've got to remember that this is a pattern of learned behavior, and that a lot of times victims are afraid. Sometimes victims don't talk because they don't want to endanger other people. And they've heard, if you tell this person, I'll kill you. If you do this, I'll kill you. And so we teach victims and we talk to victims all the time about taking what batterers say seriously. If someone says, I will kill you, they will kill you. And so we have to be really, proactive in having conversations and really just, again, holding batterers accountable.
This is not a question for me, but I don't want Erin to forget, because we talked about a whole bunch of stuff last hour pertaining to this case and others, was your social media question.
Yeah, I'm real concerned about, because the years I spent working in this area, social media wasn't out there. Now it's out there, and people don't realize that a comment you might post on Facebook, though it might be benign, it might be just, to an abusive person, they might read all kinds of other things in there. Should people be careful?
Pardon me, because they know you're talking about them.
Yeah.
Even if you don't mention them by name. Is that a factor?
What's your advice with regard to what you post about this on social media?
Right, and of course, social media is just a two-headed monster. It can be great, and then it can also be damaging to domestic violence victims. I think that in this case, social media just basically shined a light on one of the social ills that we see every day. Sometimes we're blind, and just like the Ray Rice case, we knew it happened. We know it happens, but until we actually see it, it's just really it enlightens the awareness of what's going on. But it can also be very harsh and very cruel when it comes to victims. And just like we're reading those comments, you got to think about that. There's someone somewhere who's actually being victimized. And if they see this and feel like they're going to be re-victimized in social media with sharing and commenting, I think it's very important. We have to realize that when we make comments that someone who really is in danger may be reading that.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. This man has a history of domestic abuse, of violent crime.
Right.
We all want to ask this question. I know this is not something you can answer. What's he doing out there?
Right. Again, it just goes back to stiffer gun laws and holding offenders accountable. like, and a lot of times, I speak to prosecutors, I speak to DAs, and we have the conversation back and forward about victimless prosecution. Because a lot of times victims will not show up for court. A lot of times she'll show up and say, hey, I don't want to press charges. And then, of course, it may be the court system's response to say, well, we can't pursue a case where there's no victim. Well, I beg to differ because we do it every day in homicide cases, right?
You bet.
So I think that victimless prosecution is very important, that we are able to prosecute these cases with or without the victim cooperation.
I hope this question is not out of line. I don't think so.
Okay.
Should people in this kind of, should she have had a gun?
Well, what we believe is that in instances, in situations where there is a gun present, that the gun will most likely be used to kill the victim. So we do not, if you've seen the video, this is a person who is at an all-time high, is at an all-time, moment of anger, frustration, and control. He would have taken it, and in most cases, that's exactly what happened. So we do not.
Does that mean that women in that situation are reticent, are hesitant, they won't shoot?
Well, it just depends on each situation. But what we know about the dynamics of domestic violence is that the batterer is a person who's about control. So with that same control, they're going to exhibit verbal, emotional, financial, sexual, and physical control.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Patrina Jenkins with Project Celebration. I don't know if you and I can work together on this, what we can do. What can we do for the children? What is there anything our community can do to reach out for these youngsters?
Absolutely. Right now, this family needs our support. We need to offer them support and, of course, take a non-victim blaming stance to what has happened. These children are going to need counseling. But we, of course, have to realize that they're going to also have physical needs, that there's going to be something that these children will need, that society will have to embrace them at this point.
I hope you and I can get together off the air and maybe come up with some ideas to help, because I
would love to.
I will do whatever I can, and I know our listeners will help too. God bless the family. Our prayers go out to them.
Absolutely.
And I hope our whole community does too. Patrina Jenkins, Project Celebration, thanks for everything you do.
Thank you.
19 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Starting to see some slow-moving traffic on Greenwood Road near Hearn Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Benton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
23. I heard that. 23 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Shreveport Mudbugs organization is one of 4 finalists in the country for a $150,000 grant for arena upgrades through Kraft's Hockeyville initiative. The winning group will be determined solely by a popular vote that is underway right now and will continue until 10 o'clock Saturday morning on the website crafthockeyville.com. You can vote as often as you want. In addition to the grant money, the winner will also be in line to host an NHL preseason game this fall. Of course, nasty weather is coming in, and it probably will affect 4 local area regional college baseball series that are set to start today, including Northwestern State welcoming Southeastern to Natchitoches. Grambling hosts UAPB in SWAC action. Louisiana Tech tries to keep their stranglehold on first place in Conference USA when they host Charlotte. And LSU will host Tennessee right here on 1130 The Tiger. In the big leagues tonight, the Houston Astros take